You're riding with Rev and The Godfather on Road.fm.
What's up, nomads? America was built on the Word of God, aka the Bible, and you wonder why this country is coming apart at the seams? If you remove the foundation, which is God Himself, what do you expect to happen? Either we fix this by putting God back at the center of everything, or this country is going to get much worse. It's time to stop catering to the small minority of anti-God agendas and start looking at the silent majority once again. Put God first no matter whom you offend. Let's get the Godfather in here after we take this quick break. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with the Godfather. What's going on today, man?
Oh, what's up with you, my brother?
Everything's good. It's pouring rain out here. Usual summer day in Florida.
Hell yeah.
But, you know,
got to get some relief from the heat.
Forgotten countries where we're at today. So,
well, that kind of goes hand in hand.
It's a touchy subject for a lot of people, I would say.
Well, the safe space crowd.
The safe space crowd.
Yeah,
what the hell is a safe space?
Touchy for them.
If you were part of the safe space seeking liberal crowd, where would you feel safe to speak your mind?
Oh, if I was part of the liberal crowd, anywhere, because there's no repercussions. Well, now maybe down, I wouldn't pick no redneck bar or biker bar.
Yeah, don't go in there with that crap.
In the middle of Texas somewhere.
Texas? In the middle of Lake County?
In the middle of anywhere, man. That's a great thing about living in Florida. You get people that'll come in a one-on-one, but they don't really gang up. And you in Orlando or in Miami or maybe to a lesser degree in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
They can get out there, but they don't really protest too much, because they can't block the streets here in Florida like they can in other places because our great governor signed that executive order. Basically,
no, it's a law. It's not executive order.
Man, if I'm in my car and these idiots are banging,
blocking the street, banging on your windows.
On the car. I mean, I've seen too many videos where they yank a poor dude out of the car and beat him to death
with the kid screaming in the back seat.
That ain't happening to me.
Not at all.
I know which side the gas pedal's on.
Now, okay, this trucker down in South Florida.
Yep.
He's driving down the street.
Yep.
Now, here's the news version. Pride parade's going on. This guy just happens to plow through the crowd.
Yep.
The sheriff's department said, well, hold on. That's not what happened. He was at a red light. They started banging on his window, giving him the finger. He felt his life was threatened. They surrounded his car.
So he was eastbound and down.
He hit the gas.
Wow.
Was he in his legal right?
I mean, if he's in fear of his life, and I always found that interesting. So like being a concealed carry holder,
right?
If I'm in a situation where, I'm in fear of my life, I can protect myself.
Right.
Okay. Well, if I'm in a car and they're trying to beat the car and break the glass and drag me out of it, I mean, if that fella had pulled his gun out and started blasting, people would be like, well, Castle.
That was excessive.
Oh, but I don't know, man. That's the thing about all this mess. Why bother anybody? You know what I mean? Like if your idea of protesting is blocking the street, like I now hear him say, we got to make people uncomfortable.
For what?
Well, why? So I don't like you even more than I didn't like your ass.
10 minutes prior.
It's like, man, because then I never sympathize with you.
Right.
You could be protesting some shit that I like. I'm going to block the roads. Oh man, I got places to be.
I am late. Get out of the street.
I loved, there's one video I loved where the guy gets out of the car and they're blocking the road and he just starts knocking them down. He's like, this is a man. And you can tell.
You're talking about the guy in the medical?
Yeah.
Like he was going to work.
I got to go to work.
Yeah. I saw that.
And that's the thing, man. I mean, these kids, they get in the road and raise all kinds of hell, but I guess they've never had to be anywhere at 7 a.m. or 10,
because they don't work.
Well,
You're talking about people that don't have jobs that are out protesting.
Somebody's paying them.
Yeah. But I remember that the guy was in like hospital scrubs and he had a backpack on.
Yep.
And he moved their little barrier they had and then started hitting people in the jaw.
Oh, yeah.
And he dropped like 4 people. And they just looked at him like, whoa.
That's job security if you work at the hospital and you're putting people in the damn hospital.
Yeah. And then they get there and he's the one stitching them up. They're like, oh, crap. But, all right, let's look at For God and Country, right?
Oh, yeah. I'll make the attempt.
We'll try to stay on topic today, ladies and gentlemen.
There's so much going on.
There is a lot going on. And sorry if you guys can hear the rain in the back, but kind of adds to the
mystique.
The mystique of,
yeah.
The radio here. But For God and Country, we have our foundation of this country is built on godly Christian principles.
Well, yeah.
Plain and simple, right? You take away the foundation of anything, it's going to fall apart.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can't build a house without a foundation.
Well, you've got a group of people. I mean, you go back to the Pilgrims. All right, they're living in England. They don't like the way things are going down. They don't like the way the Church of England's being run. They're being persecuted. It's like, you know what?
We're out of here.
And here's the thing. You would think that if you got a group that's causing you problems, you'd be happy to see them go, all right, yeah, take your ass over there.
We'll help you pack.
Yeah, you're going to sail off the end of the earth, whatever. And so they come over.
Because it's flat, right?
Yeah, they come over here and
imagine being a flat earther getting on the Nina Pinta or Santa Maria.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'll tell you what. It's one thing to get on a boat or something, knowing what we know now, GPS and looking at maps and everything. But man, them cats didn't know. And imagine that, 3 months later, you're still traveling
on that boat.
Yeah.
They could have went in a complete circle. Imagine that.
Yeah.
If he just drifted off and ended up right back where he started.
The liberals give old Columbus a bunch of hell, but I tell you what, man, it took balls big as church bells to do something like that. The Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock.
Yeah. Okay. Plymouth Rock landed on them.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. But like I said, these guys come here for religious they basically wanted to worship God in their own way. Freely. Yep. Without having to deal with the Church of England and all the BS.
And the Queen and
with the king at the time. So, imagine saying, I love my way of life, my religion so much, I'm willing to go live somewhere. I have no idea if we're going to make it. I don't know what diseases are there. I don't know what people are there. All I know is
it's better than
it's better than to worship God as I please is more important to me than all the comforts that I have here. And
that's a big state.
Yeah. So they come over here and start laying the foundations for the 13 colonies that we ended up with, and
the
now,
Betsy Ross flag.
No, I mean what's funny is these commies. I'm gonna stop calling them liberals. These commies.
Bingo. There you go.
They hate the fact that there were once men and women that were strong enough to accomplish things. And they want to tear down their statues, burn down all memory
of history,
right? So that the future generations have no idea of what man can accomplish if he's left to his own devices.
Put their mind to it. Now, all right, let's talk about history for a minute. That has to do with...
Now we're in trouble.
Yeah, but it has to do with forgotten country. So you look at Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
What was his political party?
Oh, he was the first Republican president.
The first Republican president. Yeah. Then you go to the first 23 black congressmen. What were they? What was their
They were Republicans.
They were Republican. So now we got two
damn racists.
Ain't that something? They're a bunch of bigots.
Man, I can't believe it. They were oppressing people before it was cool.
Now, the Republican Party was founded
as an abolitionist party
against
the Democrat slavers.
The Democrats were trying to force slavery nationwide as law.
Well, what the Democrats of the time, what they were trying to accomplish was they were more
enslavement.
Well, listen, when they talk about slavery, here we are, God and country. Now we're at the Civil War. But when they were talking about slavery and they were talking about, they felt that they were fighting government overreach. They felt that they were fighting a tyrannical federal government that was telling them they couldn't have an institution, slavery, right or wrong, in their states. And they were saying, hey, our states, we have the right to do whatever the hell we want to do. You guys are trying to outlaw something that we need economically, whether, and so, and the thing about it is, now look, the average dude on the street, he didn't give a damn about slavery one way or the other because he didn't have any slaves, couldn't afford any slaves. He was dirt poor. It's the same people that own rich stuff now own slaves. So that whole thing, where we're talking about freeing the Democrat slaves, it is funny. But like the Civil War was more about what, and I'm not defending them. I'm saying those Democrats at the time felt like they were fighting a tyrannical government, and that they viewed Lincoln the way that we probably viewed Joe Biden. You know what I mean?
Lord have mercy.
But what's fun, and it's all about perspective. That's what they thought. That's what they felt. But at the end of the day, and what's funny now is, it's, I sit here in this chair talking about it like, from some position of authority, but the reality is, man, my people got here after all that shit was over with. They had there was nobody slaving that had anything to do with me or my people, and there were no slaves either. You know what I mean? We were just, but my people come from Switzerland. They set up in Ohio and made Swiss cheese. I mean, that's a fact.
They snuck over.
And then they brought their people with them, and then sooner or later, here I came.
All right. But now, bringing up the Republican Party.
Right. Well, but to finish that, so the people of the time, okay, there was brother against brother, family member against family member, right? So, and they talk about slaving and reparations, and I mean, everything that the Democrats talk about is just designed to make us hate each other. To make us hate each other now about some crap that happened back then. It'd be like, married to a woman who never lets you forget that you spilt wine on her dress on the wedding day. You know what I mean? Like, it's
the wedding day, because it was coming off that night anyway.
Right.
So it didn't make a difference.
But the when you're like, now we got to have reparations and all this stuff. All right. So there were thousands and thousands of casualties in the Union Army. These are the guys who fought the Confederates, and they fought to end the shit.
And so they were the Republicans.
Well, yeah, because they felt like they were saving the Republic.
Exactly. That's my point. So the Union was the Republic. The Confederates were more Democrat.
Well, yeah.
If you think about it.
Well, I mean, it stayed that way for a long time. The South.
But history has you, the average, especially college kid today, super liberal, they see it the other way around.
Well, they don't understand what the difference between and I speak from authority here, because when I was a kid, I remember getting ready to register to vote.
The post office. And
I asked people that I knew, what the difference was between a Democrat and a Republican, because I didn't know which way to vote, or which way to register. And hell, people didn't know. The average people I hung out with, they had no idea what the difference was, so and then back then there was no internet, so you couldn't look up and find this test. Are you a Democrat or are you a Republican? Fill out this form,
Well, yeah, the Encyclopedia Britannica.
But I ran into a guy who wasn't trying to push one way or the other. He said, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about the death penalty? I'm like, well, if somebody does something horrible enough, kill them,
86.
What do you think about, and abortion? Back then, it wasn't this huge thing like it is now. It wasn't something that the Democrats wanted to hang their hat on. It was just something that was an unfortunate thing that people dealt with, So it wasn't, he didn't even ask me about abortion, but he asked me things about, how do you feel about a guy who's capable of work that doesn't work? Should he get money from the government? I was like, hell no, he shouldn't get any money from the government. And so at the end of
you're a Republican.
Well, at the end of the day, at the end of it, he says, well, you probably would register Republican the way you think.
Right.
And he never, I to this day, I don't know whether the guy was Republican or Democrat, but
your ideas lined up.
When he'd ask me questions like,
conservatives.
and he wasn't leading me with questions, because he'd ask something like, well, okay, if let's say somebody's poor and they need food, should the government give them money for food if they can't get any money out there? And so you'd answer those questions honestly. And he's like, you lean more towards Republicans. So that's what I signed up as.
Well, do you remember? I mean, I grew up in the inner city as a kid till my parents bought their house in the country. I remember those welfare boxes. It was a cardboard box. It had a can of silver beans about 2 feet tall. It had a big hunk of fat at the top when you opened the can.
Oh, yeah.
The fruit came in little silver cans, and everything was stamped USDA.
Oh, yeah.
And that block of cheese that came in that cardboard, oh, my God. That was welfare back in the day where you said, hey, look, this will at least feed us.
You couldn't buy no spinning rims with government cheese.
No
no
steaks, no soda, no lobster tails.
But, once again, how do we get from only us? How do we get from the Civil War, slavery to government cheese?
And we're not done yet.
And we're 10 minutes in. Somebody has to ring a bell every time we change topics.
Like ding, ding, get back on focus.
But, like I say, the average kid doesn't know the difference between what the Democrat Party stands for or historically what they stood for.
Historically, right.
And they don't know what the Republican Party stands for now. They only know what the news tells them.
Which is wrong.
Yeah, well, the news are all Democrats.
Well, the Republican Party was founded in Ripton, Wisconsin. And it was to fight against the Democrats who were trying to mandate slavery nationwide, right? Let's fast forward a little bit to Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream.
All right.
What was his affiliation?
Well, now I've heard that his father was a Republican, but there was no record, that he was a Republican. Because, and that's once again, I will say this. I don't believe any damn thing I read on the internet. Only half of what I see and none of what I hear.
Okay.
But the popular notion amongst Republicans is that Martin Luther King was a Republican. That the only record was his father was a registered Republican, but they weren't sure whether or not he is. Now, once again, I didn't go down to the courthouse and look at the records.
Mm-hmm.
So this could totally be something that the Democrats are saying to take that off, to take the Republican stain off of the great Martin Luther King. But if he were alive today, what party do I think he would most align with? He would certainly align with the Republican Party.
You ever heard the name Coretta Scott King?
Yeah, that's his daughter. She's a big
time. His wife.
What do I know?
They were married.
Every day I come here, it's like a quiz.
Come on,
man. Let me
According
show everybody
Coretta
how
Scott King, her and Martin Luther King were married on June 18th, 1953. According to her, he was a registered Republican.
Well, there you go. See, I think she would know more than my dumb ass would know.
And that's on time.com. So the magazine, Time Magazine. That's an amazing fact.
Yep.
And people are out here running around. My daughter said it best, Dad, part of Martin Luther King's dream is this: everyone divided, walking around in masks, scared to touch each other.
Well, what would he think of transgender people?
I had a dream. And this wasn't it.
And this was not it.
This was not it. This is far from the dream I had. But,
And I must say that man in the cocktail dress does not represent my people. No.
That man, Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in trouble for that one.
Here we go.
Let me stop. I'm going to put the brakes on.
Now we're on transgender. Ding.
No, he's giving me funny looks over here, folks. I can't, he won't let me talk about.
I got to keep him in line, man.
He won't let me talk about fruit salad days or whatever. What'd you call it? Fruit festival?
The fruit festival. Hey, man, why not? I think what we should do, you know what? Why don't we apply to have June made fruit festival?
Festival.
It can be fruit festival.
Why not? It's not hate speech.
Yeah, well, it's Pride Month.
Oh, I posted something on Facebook. Ooh. Now, as we were enlightened last night, we are elected officials.
Oh, something like that.
According to the Florida law, you can't take elected officials off social media.
So the law says that if you are running for an office in the state of Florida, that Facebook can't kick you off. Well, so what if I ran for office and just got on there and started talking all the most god-awful stuff? You know what I mean? Like, just to test Facebook.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people doing that right now.
Because basically, do the rules apply? Does that rule still apply? Like, look at me. Let's say that I decided to run for the lowest.
For Grand Wizard.
Well, yeah, I was running for. Well, I mean, hell, you laugh, but it could be. I mean, look, you get some guy, and he says, you know what? I hate Mexicans so much. I'm gonna run for dog catcher and just get on Facebook and talk all kinds of crap about Mexicans, right? So that and if they know they can't kick him off. I mean, I don't know if the rules work that way.
Well, that would be called a loophole.
Well, So I mean, like the guy can commit hate crime after hate crime after hate crime.
Kinda.
You can't kick him off.
Let's look at a fact about, I just brought up the Grand Wizard of the Klan.
Oh, here we go.
The Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, Robert Byrd.
Yeah, he was in the Congress.
He was a congressman.
Oh, yeah.
When he died, who gave his eulogy and called him his mentor, friend, and confidant? Who did his eulogy?
Oh, yeah, Joe Biden, his buddy, and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was like so far up his ass, you could taste what he had for breakfast. I mean, this guy.
And he was the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Oh, yeah. Well, but he had reformed his KKK ways. Now, meanwhile,
how you do that?
Well, hell, I don't know. I mean, if you believe, and now I heard Bill Clinton give a speech about him because they asked Bill Clinton, back when they used to ask Democrats hard questions.
Oh, they don't do that no more.
No, hell no.
What's the hardest question Joe Biden has had so far?
Oh, yeah. Well, how was breakfast this morning, sir?
The hardest question Joe Biden has had to date is, what flavor ice cream is that? If you remember that.
Yeah.
Come on.
But where they asked Bill Clinton about, how do you jive with the fact that you're dealing with the guy, former Grand Wizard of the KKK? And he's like, well, how Clinton is. Well, he wanted to be a politician from the South back then, and you just had to, be part of the KKK. It's like, get the hell out of here.
And he was a Democrat.
Have to be.
And he was a Democrat.
Yeah, he was a Democrat. That's why he had to be a member of the KKK. So what you're saying is, well, he was a Southern Democrat, and I got to be a member of the KKK. So okay, so
that's kind of the prerequisite.
Because I don't know many Republicans that were members of the KKK.
They have a convoluted view of history, I think, because they're not reading it for themselves. They're going by what you said earlier, what the news tells them.
Well, yeah, the news tells them who to hate every day.
Think about what Trump's legacy is going to be 15 years
Dude, let me
from
tell
now.
you something about liberals. When I was a kid, there was a group called, a younger man. There was a group called Rage Against the Machine. Remember those guys?
I remember, the rock group.
And they had this song that's like, F you, I won't do what you told me. F you, I won't do, called, it's about just fight the power, right?
Yeah.
And like, so that was your liberal viewpoint back then. I'm not going to do what you tell me. I'm fighting the system. Now, if they wrote that song now, it would be like, F you, you better do what we told you.
Complete 180.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're not doing what we told you.
You're supposed to listen, follow the rules.
Wear that mask. By good Lord. It's like hall monitors run the country.
And they're so what was it when we were kids? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Call me this and call me that. Yeah. I still say your mom is fat.
Boy, he's rhyming now.
Come on. But it was, don't let names and words bother you. When the heck did words start?
When they learned that if they can pit two people against each other politically, then they can keep you from realizing that they're holding you down. So when that's when they started amping up all this stuff, like, oh my God, he called her fat. Well, she's fat.
She's 300 pounds. She's fat.
You're not using her proper pronouns. Well,
he, she.
Dude.
Come on.
Well, but that's, what they found was people were just naturally coming together on a lot of issues.
Right.
And coming together means you can't gin people up against one another, Well,
but that's what Democrats specialize in. What are you talking about?
Because that's how they get their votes, by making people, I mean, look, Republicans do it too. Oh, other people are coming across the border, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's true.
But here's the thing about that. When the Republican is not saying those people coming across the border are criminals, all of them. They're saying there are criminals who are coming across
Mixed
the border.
in the group, yeah.
Right. They're not saying, hey, we don't think those people should be taken care of, but they are saying we don't have the money to take care of them.
Well, because Joe Biden and Nancy sent how many 1.9 trillion out of the country.
Well, you know.
Come on. So, staying on task here for God and country. Democrats are evil and Republicans are trying to save this great nation. But I get a lot of people talking about that they hate America and they want to leave. I mean,
well, okay. You just
have they ever been outside the country?
You just said something. All right. Democrats are evil and Republicans are trying to save the country. Okay. I don't think most Democrats are evil, but the people who are influencing them are.
Okay.
And a lot of them are misled. Nor do I think that all Republicans are trying to save the country, because there's plenty of Republicans at the top who are just filling their pockets.
Yeah. Mitt Romney.
Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. So when you have a group of people that are being misled like that,
right?
You can't go and say, man, those guys are evil people, because then now we're doing the dividing, right?
I'm doing this on purpose. I'm doing an exercise right now.
Oh yeah, you're trying to draw me out into something. But at the same time, and the point I'm trying to get to, and my mind is racing here. When you just name anything anti-God, anti-goodness, or anti-American.
Democrat.
Burning flags.
Democrat.
Which party supports burning flags?
Democrat.
Which party supports abortion?
Democrat.
On demand, up to 5 years old. Well, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not laughing at that, but
if I'm going to say a position and you just say to yourself what party it's affiliated with. We said flag burning. We know it's Democrats.
Yep.
Pedophilia.
Democrat.
Acceptance of pedophilia.
Democrat.
All right. If this was a policy, letting people out of jail without paying any bail.
Democrat.
Burning, like I said, burning the flag, that's definitely Democrat. But
defunding the police.
Yeah, defunding the police.
Democrat. Tearing down statues.
Burning down the library.
Democrat.
It's like everything. Oh, kneeling for the
national
anthem.
Democrat.
Anything
anti-American, anti-God.
So if there was a rule,
taking the Pledge of Allegiance out of schools,
right? If there was
Democrat,
if it says if there's a party that's trying to take one nation under God off the money, or in God we trust off the money,
Democrat. Yeah. Well, hold on. With the one nation under God, not once but twice during the Democratic National Convention, that was excluded.
Oh yes, and if you hear that someone booed God at their convention, it wasn't the Republicans. So, I mean, if there's all of these things that are happening and it's just, so if, let's say that you were sitting there and a person says to you, hey, I think my cat is a vegan transgendered cat. So I'm going down to get him neutered. We're going to call it a girl and he's only going to eat carrots. She's only going to eat carrots from now on. Mm-hmm. What party is that guy affiliated?
Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, like
without question,
because it's just nuts.
All the abnormal things.
If somebody said to you, "Listen, man, I was meditating one night, and it came to me that if I thought hard enough, I could have ESP communication with my goldfish." What party is that guy affiliated with?
Democrat.
And like I know the people out there saying, well, no, Republicans would be crazy too. If you had to bet $1,000, I mean, like there ain't no,
mm-hmm.
And that's if you had to put your money where your mouth is. Oh yeah, he's Democrat for sure.
Right. If it's a 3-1 bet,
yep, you know it.
Vegas is taking odds. You can make some money. You're going to put your money on Democrat with the craziness.
And now, okay, so
which party won't let you own anything now?
Now here's something. Let's say that you find out that the guy on the county commission charges a consulting fee for, some river project that's coming through, or something that needs to be done, and it's $50,000, and nobody can figure out, why this guy's getting $50,000. All right, you don't automatically say Democrat or Republican, because that's something you can't, so that's something you can say, well, that's not affiliated with anybody. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's just that guy being a bad guy.
Yeah, he's just a crook.
Right. So, but like anything, because that's not something.
Anything abnormal leans towards the Democratic Party.
Yep.
I mean, that's plain and simple. But this country was founded on Christian principles and prayer and putting God first.
Right.
And that started in the churches. But now you got churches being abnormal.
Well, yeah.
You got churches pushing the vaccine. And folks, I got to go off on this tangent for a minute.
Here we go. Ding.
Any pastor that is pushing this vaccine isn't reading the Bible, isn't standing on faith the size of a mustard seed, because all they have to do, there's one book in the Bible, Psalm chapter 91, sums up everything about this vaccine, right?
Yep.
No disease shall touch you, no plague shall come near your home. Plain and simple. There's other verses in the Bible that says you can handle broods and vipers, deadly snakes, and they won't harm you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Have no fears in the Bible 365 times exactly as a daily reminder to live without fear.
Yeah.
Why are these churches giving away free vaccines and all that?
Well, I mean, and once again, it comes from a position where they're being misled, where, the guy.
And they're being paid.
Well,
heavily.
This whole vaccine, this whole quote unquote pandemic, it's also politicized. If you're the pastor of a predominantly Democrat church, you're going to say we're opening our doors for people to come down and get the vaccine, because by gosh, we're gonna we want you people to be healthy, and the Lord says this, so.
Mm-hmm.
But and anybody who might say well, maybe we shouldn't get the vaccine or whatever. Oh, that's just that's Trump talking. So, I mean, and the same thing with the predominantly Republican or predominantly conservative church. I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you go to a church and you believe the principles that are in that Bible, then you're conservative.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's that if your pastor is not conservative, then you're not in a real church.
Yeah. Plain and simple. Okay, if your pastor and his husband are teaching at church, you're not in a conservative church.
No, I would venture to say you're not in a conservative church.
Not in a conservative church. But it's almost like there's a saying, Satan talked a third of the angels out of heaven. Why?
Yeah.
Be careful who you listen to. It's that simple. Look at Barack Obama. Sorry, every time I say that name, I throw up a little. He said something in a speech many years ago when he was president, and that's not my fault. I did not vote for that clown. And what he said is a little scary.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play it for the listeners.
And for the international order that we have worked for generations to build. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. That order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.
Surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign. Now, folks, that's a video. That's not a chopped up audio. Barack Obama said the phrase New World Order more than any president in history. Every president,
even George Bush, because that cat,
he was killing it. But every president since JFK has said the words New World Order except for one. So JFK never said it, and who's the second one that hasn't said it?
Well, Trump didn't say it.
Trump didn't say it.
Oh,
and I'm just waiting for numbnuts Biden to say it, because he's going to say it.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's just a matter of time.
Well, he'll screw it all up.
He'll say new one order.
I live in here. We're ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, wait. It's a new world, new something.
You know the thing.
You know the thing.
Come on. But
hey, speaking of new world order, man.
Go ahead.
Ding, change topic. Ding.
Yeah, let's go.
Robert, or what the hell's that guy's name? The McAfee, the John McAfee.
Oh,
from McAfee. Yeah. He supposedly committed suicide today in police custody.
Police custody, committed suicide.
For anybody that don't know who John McAfee is, if you got that McAfee virus control antivirus on your computer, that he invented it. So he sold it for $100 million, and then bought Bitcoin when it was nothing.
Pennies.
Yeah. So now he's a billionaire, internet billionaire. He got in some legal trouble. Apparently, he killed his neighbor in some kind of a dispute.
Probably
allegedly. So he fled to Belize, I believe, and he had he hired his own little private army, and so like they couldn't get him and everything. But he somehow or another ended up in Spain in prison in Barcelona, and which is where he killed himself, supposedly today.
Yeah, in a Spanish jail.
So I have a couple of tweets in front of me that I would like to read.
Go ahead,
Okay, now this is and look, I don't recommend Twitter. I grabbed these off of another site because Twitter is the garbage dump of the world.
Oh, of course, I don't support them.
So under his official John McAfee verified page, this is June 9th of 2019, so a couple years ago. I've collected files on corruption in governments. For the first time, I'm naming names and specifics. I'll begin with a corrupt CIA agent and 2 Bahamian officials. Coming today, if I'm arrested or disappear, 31 plus terabytes of incriminating data will be released to the press.
Ouch.
All right, that's pretty.
And the press is dirty, so it doesn't matter.
So then, well, here's one dated September of 2019. I was stunned by Epstein's suicide, though probably not as much as Epstein himself.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now. So, of course, today he kills himself. And here, here's the headline. John McAfee found dead in prison cell after Spanish High Court allows extradition to the U.S. All right, so he knew he was coming to the U.S. Well, previously, now we're back on his Twitter page.
Wait, where was Hillary today?
Yeah, I know. She called the suicide hotline.
Yeah.
I need to order another one.
Oh, no.
It's like, man, that's not what this does.
Yeah, that's not what we do here.
So, and now here's something that he had tweeted out. Why am I keeping this information private if it could help the world? Because I'm a dead man the moment it is released. Forgive my selfishness. I am doing what I can in ways that a living person can do. That will have to be enough. I'm old. You will not have long to wait. All right. So, so here we go. This is one of the newer tweets.
Okay.
I'm getting subtle messages from U.S. officials saying, in effect, we are coming for you, McAfee. We are going to kill yourself. So he got a tattoo, and there's
wait a minute. The government said we are going to kill yourself.
This is what he's claiming. Okay. Now he's got a tattoo, and I mean I know what tattoos look like, and this is a real tattoo. It says, I got a tattoo today just in case. If I suicide myself, I didn't. I was whacked. Check my right arm. And the word whacked is tattooed to his right arm. That
is amazing.
Okay.
So he basically left cookie crumbs.
Right. So let's see. He tweets out this, I'm content in here. I have friends. The food is good. All is well. Know that if I hang myself a la Epstein, it will be no fault of mine. All right. So now he's been suicided. And on his official McAfee page, the main picture has been changed to a big Q.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
So I don't know what's going on.
Data dump coming.
But I'd like to know.
You know how I feel about that Q movement. I'm a little critical of it.
I'm critical of it too, but here's the thing. I'd like to think that a dude that had billions of dollars and connections around the world and enough money to pay for his own army to keep him out of jail for, you know, would know a little more about situation than I do. But whoever's running that account of his, I mean, and it may just be, yeah, well, John's dead. Let's do this. Let's
play along.
Right. But so, and that to me, you know, okay, so here's a guy that's dead that claimed on several occasions that he's not going to kill himself. Mm-hmm. And then talking about the prison that he's in, he says, hey, the food's all right here. Everything's cool. I got friends. I'm good. I'm not going to hang myself.
If I get whacked.
Right. And he goes as far as to get a tattoo on his arm that says whacked. So let's say that after all that, he decides to become suicidal. Mm-hmm. You know, good Lord, the guy's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He could hire all the attorneys in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes no sense.
That's why I said, now, where was Killary?
Well, now I want to know, you know, if they're going to release all that information. I mean, this guy's, things are going to be interesting.
He said terabytes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how much a terabyte is?
Oh, yeah.
Come on. That's endless information right there, buddy.
It's got to be. Well, here's a guy that his software was installed on damn near everybody's computer for a while.
Wait a minute. Imagine if it's an automatic update to your computer.
Oh, man.
And it's a data dump. So everyone's computer that has McAfee all of a sudden gets files.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this guy had I'm not saying that he wasn't crazy. He did a lot of crazy shit. I mean, but you know, stuff that are, I mean, look,
most
he left his wife.
Do.
He left his wife while he was in Belize, and he had like 8 women living with him that were basically prostitutes, and he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff with them.
Sounds like every billionaire.
Well, I mean, the guy's got $1 billion. I've never had $1 billion, so I don't know. But, you know,
that's a lot of Viagra.
But, you know, hey, and speaking of people doing crazy stuff, the Lord chimes in.
Yep.
Our buddy Hunter's at it again.
Oh no.
Hey, we should make this a regular feature, the Hunter Biden Minute.
What did he do now?
And tonight in Hunter Biden news. So Hunter apparently paid for a prostitute in 2018. Okay, and this is according to the New York Post of all places.
The liberal New York Post.
So he'd spent a number of nights in May of 2018 with a woman at a Hollywood hotel, and he owed her $8,000.
That's a heck of a night.
Oh man, you know. So the credit card that he used belonged to his daddy, Joe. So Joe Biden, they have found out that Joe's company, you know, that whatever slush fund or whatever the hell he's, you know, using, they paid the prostitute with it. And the way that they found out is that I guess she started running transactions on the card. So they were overcharges of like $25,000 on the card.
Folks, I want to be clear about something. We've seen pictures of what was allegedly on
right.
Hunter Biden's laptop. Who do you think took the picture?
That's the thing. Like that's what's strange to me. So there's
Joe.
Well, look, man, some of the stuff that I saw, and I know things can be fake, but there's one where it's pretty clear to me, at least, that that's his niece. He's butt naked. She's butt naked. Like
his blood relative.
Who's taking that photo?
Joe.
Nah, man.
How do you know?
Well, hell, I don't know.
At my point exactly.
I don't know.
We all know he's a creepy pedophile. He does creepy things. Talks to little girls. You're 8, you look 19. Who the hell says things like that?
But nobody would say that to my kid.
You don't do stuff like that. So yeah, in my assumption, Joe, the big guy, was the cameraman.
Nah. Well, you know what?
We don't know.
Look, here's the thing. I don't think that dude's capable of taking a damn picture of anything, of operating any kind of smartphone. He's probably standing there with a damn, you know, one of them old timey cameras that look like an accordion.
Hold still, Hunter.
Smoke bomb.
The smoke bomb.
Back in my day, that's how I had to do it. Nah.
He's shaking the paper on the Polaroid. I don't know.
Dad,
man.
you don't have to shake the phone.
Hold still, honey. How do I rewind this? But
Well, here's the thing, dude. If that, look, if that is his niece, and Joe is as the friggin' grandfather. Whoever's taking the photo. I mean, look.
They all need to go to prison.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not just pictures of him with this young lady. There's several pictures of him with all kinds of incriminating
Children,
stuff.
man.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, what the hell happened to the Justice Department?
I don't know, man.
If you're able to be bought that bad, you're going to hell with gasoline draws out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad.
Oh, there's pictures of Joe or pictures of, oh man, he's got text messages. I mean, good Lord, if this was Don Jr., it would be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until they drummed him out of town.
Somebody just sent me a picture of the John McAfee Twitter account.
Yep.
It's got the Q on it.
Yep.
And it's his official account.
Yeah.
Let's see if it was hacked.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
on.
well, here's the thing. His official account, he was in prison and he was sending tweets the whole time he was in prison. He's been in there a while.
He's a billionaire.
Well, but so he's
Sure,
got
he
a staff that's doing
in
it.
there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he's also in a foreign prison, so he gets a little perks, gets to keep his phone.
His phone for $1,000 a day. He'd
Well,
do it.
hey, I don't care. But
The warden's making a payday right there, buddy.
If my ass was in prison, I had $100 billion. I'd be like, well, I'll be sitting in the warden's
Give me
chair.
the key. I'll come back. I promise. But I mean, we started off for God and country, right?
And now we're talking about Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden, because that ain't God or country. But liberals support these people to the ends of the earth because that's their candidate and his family. Again, with people saying they'll leave the United States and all this, those people probably have never left the United States and don't know how bad it is. You talked about Mexico on one of our episodes.
Yep.
I've traveled the world. There is no place like home, even though home is falling apart at the moment.
And the commies, they talk about America, like it's, this garbage dump. And it's like, look, man, this is great. Why do people try to get in here? People don't try to sneak out of the sumbitch. They're trying to sneak in.
They're sneaking in.
Yeah.
But, look at Florida. We're getting 1,000 people a day moving to Florida. Real estate is through the roof right now.
Here. It's crazy here.
But even with the real estate market of Florida, rates are super low, super duper low, 2.9%. But the housing price market is through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
So you got rates low, prices high. At some point, it's going to level out and then teeter and go the other way, where rates will be through the roof.
Yep.
And prices will be low.
Yep.
So what's going to happen? People aren't going to be able to refinance for a lower rate.
Nope.
And they won't have any equity in the house because the prices are going to drop. This bubble's going to burst.
Yep.
So people buying houses now for $50,000 over asking price.
Oh man, it's bidding wars on this stuff.
So if a house is $300,000, what's it going to sell for?
Well, I mean, it's not uncommon for people to offer 10 to 20 more than what the damn house is worth. But here's the thing: you got to be a cash buyer because you can
the mortgage ain't gonna.
You can offer all you want. The appraiser's going to say what the appraiser says, and the mortgage company's going to say what the mortgage company says. But what's happening is you got people who live up north in some little house, 1,500 square foot that their daddy bought and left them, and that he paid $12,000 for back in 1953, and now the damn thing's worth $1.5 million, because it's near the city. And so they come, they
cash out.
They cash out, come down here and think, man, $500,000 buys me a place and I get to keep all this extra money.
Bang, and they get it.
So, and then somebody else wants to buy it and they're like, no, I want it. I'll give you, dude, I saw an article talking about this fella in Texas that he wanted the house so bad that he paid that they was having a bidding war against the guy. And it's like, oh, well, I'll give you 10,000 more. I'll give you 20,000 more. I'll give you 100,000 more. That he agreed not only to buy the house from the fellow that was selling it, but also to pay for the house that the guy was moving into.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So $500,000 for the house that he was purchasing, and then the house that guy was moving into was $500,000, and he paid for that too.
And so he paid $1 million.
Oh yeah.
And And the guy getting the house got
he paid
a
$500,000.
free house.
Yeah, he paid $500,000, and then he bought the other house and gave it to the guy.
Holy smoke. Wow. That's the market of today.
But
normally a person, buys a house, pays 10 years worth of mortgage, refinances, cashes out some equity, maybe gets a pool, maybe gets an extension, build something on the house.
not me, boy. We slaved and slaved and slaved
To pay it off.
to pay the damn thing off.
Early.
That thing is having a house that's paid off.
Oh, there's nothing better. No better feeling.
It's like,
man.
well, what's Dave Ramsey say? That's the new Mercedes Benz or new Ferrari or whatever. But for me, it's just knowing that if shit hits the fan,
They ain't taking
my damn house.
That's a great feeling, Being we're both business owners, we're in America, we work hard, and we enjoy the freedoms of being able to run our own business.
Yep.
I've been in countries where the government won't let you own anything. You work for the government. You were talking about Cuba at one point where it's like, oh yeah, well, you own this store.
No, you don't own it. You get to work here.
But the government owns it.
Yeah.
So imagine, people, if you're a business owner, you own your business, whether it's let's say it's a detail car shop, right? You got your employees, you got your products, you got your ownership, it's your business. And then Joe Biden just one day says, well, you don't get to own that anymore. Because Obama said that at one point.
Yeah.
You didn't build that business.
Well, he didn't know what the hell he was talking about because he ain't never built anything.
And he never built nothing. It was all handed to him. But as Americans, we want more and we can earn more, right? Being this socialism, communist crap is creeping up on us. Imagine somebody coming to your business and going, hey, bud, you can still work here. You can keep the name of the shop or whatever you want to name it.
Yep.
We're going to pay you this much money a week. We now own this, though, but you're going to still run it. They just took away your drive.
Well,
Would you agree?
the only they would give me a lot of drive to get on a raft and float my ass
Somewhere else.
Damn right.
Imagine all of us going to Cuba. Right? But you can't do that because there's no guns.
Well, there's nowhere to run. I mean, America's the last stand.
This is it. Emiliano Zapata, there's a quote, and I have it on the website, road.fm at the very bottom. His quote states, I'd rather die on my feet than ever live on my knees. Because, folks, once you take that knee, once you're on your knees,
Oh, yeah.
they're going to put their foot on your back now.
Oh,
You'll never get up. There is no getting up. Australia gave up their guns. We talked about this.
Oh, yeah. Now that poor bastards are getting, I saw a video of a guy sitting on a park bench by himself, no mask on, and they come and beat his ass,
the hell
put him
out
in
of
jail.
Because he has no form of defense.
Yeah.
We talked about this one time. The Constitution wasn't written to control the people.
Hell no. It's control the government.
It's to control the government because it's for a tyrannical government. And we're faced with that right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about out of time for this one, buddy.
Yep.
What do you got to say to the people before we go?
What do we got to say to the people before we go? You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Can't stay here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. Final thought here, folks. There's only one way to fix this, and it's not being tolerant to all these other special interest groups. We got to get back to the foundation of what this country was built on. In Psalm chapter 33, verse 12, it reads, what joy for the nation whose God is the Lord, whose people he has chosen as his inheritance. We got to get back to putting God first. Thank you for listening. If you're ready to make the decision and give your life to Christ today, stay tuned for the prayer of salvation. For more information, please visit our website at www.road.fm. Again, that's ROAD.FM. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platforms, and we ask that you share it with at least 10 people to spread the word. We are listener supported here, so on our website, please visit the donate page for ways to contribute and our shop page for the latest merchandise. Remember, we love you and Godspeed, everybody. Repeat after me. Jesus, I confess you as my Lord and Savior. Come into my heart and forgive me for all my sins. Cleanse me with your precious blood and write my name in the Lamb's Book of Life. Fill me with the Holy Spirit and lead me on the road to salvation. I pray this prayer in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.